Hello, good evening, and welcome to Wednesday night Stampin' with Sandra. Just tilt you down just slightly on the old camera, it's a little bit high. This evening I've been thinking about the situations going on everywhere and in the world, and thinking that I would do share with you some ideas in the blues and the yellows. So I'm going to be using, I'll just get these up on the desk and bring your camera down onto the table. So there we go. And then you should have me in the corner. There we go. So I'm going to be concentrating on our Pacific Point and Daffodil Delight tonight. And I've got some white thrown in. Now I am using something very similar to the whites there. I've got something of a card very similar to one that I've done recently, but in nice bright colours. But I thought I was going to just tone it down into these colours today and see what you think. So I'm hoping that somebody is going to just come and put a comment on there so I know that I'm in the right place. But for now, we're going to crack on, and I'm going to cut my card base. So if I am here live on a Wednesday evening every week now, or at this time at 9 o'clock, give or take a few minutes. So if you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, please just like and subscribe, and that just helps me along. So I'm just getting my trimmer into position here. I think I have everything ready that I need. I'm going to be scoring my whole sheet of cardstock in half. So depending on your market, that is in the UK here, that's 14.85. That's just 1.5 smidgens under the 15. And then this way I'm going to cut at 10.5, which is halfway down. Hi Shaz, lovely to see you. So I'm going to cut that in half going down here like so, and there is my half card. So in the States you are 8.5 by 11, so that'd be 5.5 along the score line, and 8.5, that'd be 4.25 that way. Okay, trying to remember those measurements. So I'll take that one out of the way, and I have a piece of card here I think I can use. I'm going to be cutting a quick layer of the Daffodil Delight. I'm doing some strange measurements because I bring it down 0.5 centimetre intervals. Lovely, thanks Shaz. And then this way is going to be 9.2. It is entirely up to you. I tend to go with 0.5 centimetre or 1 centimetre down from the size of my card, so that you get your proportions all aligned. So that would be sort of kind of like the same border all the way round. So it might seem a strange number, but I think we should be okay. And then my white layer, I had some white here as well. So my white piece is going to be just a few millimetres under that. So I'm going to go with 12.9 this way. I'll call it 13, you could call it 13. And then by, I've put 8.8 here. I kind of just under. The millimetres I find easier to just gauge. We just want a small mat on there. So we just want to have a couple of millimetres either side, or 1/8 of an inch if you're, hi Anne, nice to see you, 1/8 of an inch if you're in the Imperial. Now I will need some of these scraps later, but for now I'm just going to pop those to one side. Use my chair beside me. I have shut the cats in the lounge, so all being well, we shouldn't get disturbed this evening. I'm going to work from the bottom, and I'm going to work up on my card. So I'm going to bring across my little palette here of my, I'm trying to position you a little bit easier. Oh dear, I feel like I'm stretching over the table here. My camera's not quite aligned today. So the set that I'm using is the Healing Hugs. Now this is a new addition to my collection. It's one that's kind of liked along the way, but the time was right and I actually purchased it. So I've done a few bits in here. I've cut a little piece ahead of time. These are the dies. There's the big die in here that we're going to be using, and then some other little, there's the Hugs one we will be using as well. And underneath there we have the stamps. So the stamps are missing the big one because it's in here. So pop that to the side for now. If you haven't seen this set before, then hopefully you're going to enjoy this card. So Hugs, I just thought was a good stamp. I keep a piece of scrap paper in here just to protect my mat while I'm working. Now I've put the piece of card I've just cut. So I've got this mat raised on the mat already, but it's not in the right place. So I'm going to, in fact, what I might just do, I think what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to cut myself a bigger piece so that I can trim down, because the trouble is when you have card too exact size, I'll just find my Whisper White. When your card is too exact, it's hard to get into the centre, into the corner of the Stamparatus. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself there a little bit. Look. So I'm just going to do a quarter sheet of A4. So like we've scored it into quarters, I'm just going to cut it this time, and I will just take a quarter piece and then I will trim it down from there, and that will become clear when I go through the Stamparatus. So I love my Stamparatus. It's one of the best pieces of kit I think we have. So you'll see that that's well going to cover those ones in there. You can position this in the corner, and because I liked my black always do with a re-ink, this will fill in there nicely. So we've got a good surface area. Now my stamp set goes underneath. So I place that under there. So again, I'm not going down a slope, I'm nice and even. I'm using my Memento black here. I'll tap that all over. I do tend to scrub it over there. You can't damage the surface, so just press it over and then gently tap down. Hopefully I'm not jiggling the camera. Okie doke. Sorry I didn't get a nice graphic done today. I've had a full day. I've had visitors all day, some scheduled, some not. And then into tea, then into my Wing It Wednesday with the little ladies on a Zoom chat, and straight into this. So I haven't really had a moment to breathe. So I'm just going to close the door on my Stamparatus, and I'm using my air hockey pusher. So this just makes it easier on my hands and really is handy. So there is a nice crisp impression. Don't think I need to do that anymore at all. Okay, so I'll just remove those out of the way. I'm going to replace my piece of scrap paper. You can see there's some images on here. It's just purely to protect the mat so I don't get ink on the mat underneath. So that's finished with. That's finished with. So I'm going to bring this piece on here now. If I lean on here, that would be good. So this is the piece that I'm going to work with. Now we can leave it as a whole piece, or we can trim it down first. It's entirely up to you. I think today I'm just going to trim it and get it to the size that I want. So we're working at getting this image in the centre, and I know that I need to have that about 13 centimetres. So I'm going to line this up on my 13 and get that into the centre, and then chop that end. I know the edges are straight, which helps, and then 13 that end. Okay, and then we're just doing the same on the width. So we want this to be just under 9, so I've said 8.8. So there's not going to be a lot to come off here, I don't think. So 8.8 would be there. So I'm going to take that one up there. Remember that you can always take a little bit off, but you can't put it back. Okay, that's my motto on lining things up. Okay. So there we are. We've got, it does pretty much fill this piece of card. So before I go any further, I'm just going to check with my mat layer to make sure that that is the right size. And I've got a nice little border all around the edges. Okay, so I think they should be nice and straight on there. Just a hint of the yellow on there. So this is now going to get coloured. So I'm going to work with some layers on here. If I just show you where I'm going with this, just burnish this with my bone folder. So this is going to be the top layer, a little splash of yellow. Okay, and then that will sit on here like so. Now the letters to go on here, I will do some colouring, but the letters to go on here, we have a filigree piece. I've got a couple of pieces here pre-cut. So I have the yellow layer if I just wanted to stick to the yellow, and then I'm going to cut the blue to go through the middle and go the letters over the top. I've got a little bit of greenery coming out here. I don't want it to be too one colour. I've got a green as well, but I wanted to keep it just to those two colours, so I'll pop that back over there. Have either of you seen this set? Have you used this set at all? So I know some of you have got the catalogue. So I'm just going to lay that on there just to see how that's going to look. But I'm going to bring the little Stamparatus over now because we're going to cut the letters next. Okay. So if I bring this through, we're going to lay it down and then we're going to see how we want to colour this. Okay, so this is the baby Big Shot. This is the mini cut and emboss machine. I'm trying to turn that on the camera just so you can see it's the little baby. This is absolutely fantastic little machine, and I need to tell you that during the month of March we have got a lot of offers on at 20% discount, and this is one of them. If you haven't got a baby cutter and you wish to have the mini cut and emboss machine, during the whole of this month there is a 20% saving on here. So that's always a good thing. We love saving money and we love passing that on to you. So I'm going to, I will be posting that up tomorrow with the full details and the link so you can follow that through. So I have a little scrap here of the Pacific Point. Okay, and I'm going to place that on here. Place it at an angle and then that will help the rollers when it goes through. And this is just, it's similar to the Playful Alphabet, but it's just a little bit, it's made purposely to fit inside those letters. Okay, oh look, there's one colour, one letter fallen out automatically, which is lovely. Just the S to release. There we go. Now we need this piece here because this is, sorry, let me zoom it out a little bit. A little bit too close for you. This is the waste product on here, so I'm going to set that aside because we're going to use that to position our letters in a little bit. So I'm just releasing those from the plate. You can see how well worn my base plate is here. Just get those out. You know how the plates tend to warp a little bit on the Big Shots, the cutting and emboss? I find that this one is lasting really, really well on the base here. I've used both sides. It gets quite a beating, as you can see, but it lasts really well. I'll pop that to one side for now. So if I bring this back, I'm going to start by placing those letters on top here because I want to know what it's going to look like. First of all, I just take my Take Your Pick tool. I've got some little pieces here that just need releasing that didn't quite fall out. So I cut this ahead of time just to save a little bit of time this evening. Okay, there we go. They do normally fall out really, really nicely. Just some of them need that little bit of help. I did put a brush over, but it's just, I think it's, yeah, there they are. The brush will come through. The brush is good. Okie doke. I think they're all nearly out. One more there. There you go. That's fallen out. There we go. So I didn't really need to poke those at all. They do just fall out of the die. Okie doke, and get those into the bin. I did hoover this evening, so I'm not putting them on the floor like I did the other week. So let's just take that aside, and I'm just going to place those on here and see how they look. Okay, pick those up. So I'm trying not to put my hands across you. So I'm actually going to put this on here like so. Now, because these are nice straight lines, I am going to put this on with the Tombow. I wish I hadn't got my camera positioned quite so far away. I feel like I'm leaning right across the desk to you. Sorry about that this evening. Right, just pop that down there. All I'm doing is squeezing a tiny little bit of Tombow and then just spreading it. You really don't want much on there at all. Tiny dot in the middle. And these just simply place over the top here. Okay. Now I've been chatting to my ladies on the Zoom call just now, and there's a hashtag Cards for Ukraine, and there's a lot of designs out there that people have been doing to either just to send a support. They've got friends over here with Ukrainian friends, or to put into parcels. There's one of the collection points I've earmarked to take some things to this week, and I might just make a couple of cards, just pop in those parcels. Wherever they end up, they'll just know that we're supporting them. Okay. So put that on there. I thought the hugs one was quite nice. I don't know how that translates. I hope that translates well. Okay. So these are lovely clear cut letters. I don't know where you're watching from, but if some people will be watching on replay, I've found some centres online. There's lots of collection points now around the country collecting things to be taken. So that's a really good thing we can all do. We can all give that little something, can't we? So these will match up. The letters underneath here actually line up directly on here. Now when I've done this before, I've done this with a green colour, so it's the leaves, but I'm just bringing those two colours in. So I'm going to remove that for now, and I'll build these layers up together and then place them on. I'm ready to place them on the card, just to give me a little bit more support here, just to lean on. It's still in camera. Yeah. There we go. Turn that over. I have got a messy mat because at the end I'm going to be making a mess, so I have a mat to bring on to cover the whole desk. So that's that one. It's going to sit on here, but I will put that on foam pads to make that a little bit taller. No, I think I will put it straight down. It's a change of mind. I'm just thinking about the thickness of envelopes. So I'll do that. I'll scribble in the middle. I could have gutted that layer out of the middle, but haven't done that this evening. There we go. So there is my piece. Now I want to, bearing in mind that this is going to go over the top, I do want to add some colour into those flowers. So I'm going to colour some of the flowers in one of the blues. We don't have Pacific Point in our markers. So I've got here Night of Navies, and I've got Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece that I've cut off those edges. This is always a good way to test your colours, to have your colours and see which colour is going to be nearest to what we want. That's Night of Navy. I think this one's definitely going to be too dark. Yes. Put that one back in the pot. Yeah, that's too dark. That's Night of Navy. And that's Light Misty Moonlight. This one might. No, I think that first one is going to be the colour we want. I'm just going to test that again. Yeah, that's the nearest blue. So that's the one we'll use. Okie doke. So I just want to put some on the colours on flowers. If you've seen our blends before, I'm sure you've seen me on blends. I'm using the fine tip point here, and I'm just going to colour in where the flowers are. Okay, and just give some colour to those there. So this is quite a darkish colour, but you can always blend in with the colour lifter here and just colour those in and just lighten them a little bit more. Okay, so it's a two-step really. I don't want the darkness of the colours we've got here, but I wanted something that's going to just blend down. So just colour those in slightly. This is kind of like the tulip shape really. So I've got some on there, I've got some on here. There's some more on the sides here. So a little one up there. Okay. So again, I'm going to use the colour lifter just to fully colour those in and just spread that around a little bit. I didn't want it too light, too dark up like I have up here. The colour lifter tends to act as a blending tool, but it lightens it a little bit as well. So it kind of blends those colours in. If you've got too much white, you might want to add a little bit more of the dark in there. Okay, bring those through. And on this one, and on the little flowers. There are going to be some elements over the top of it as well. So that's that one. And I'm going to then lay this over the top to see how much of this is actually going to show through. So we're using the blue because we've got the yellow layer on here. I have a big, they are leaves over there. Let's see, I'm feeling that they could come through as blues actually, those ones. Oops. So these ones here I'm going to do as flower leaves. Okay. There's 3 on that one. And 3 on this one. Just doing them a few at a time. I love our blends because you don't get the lines in there when, like you do with the markers. Okay, I'm doing this without my glasses on, but I'm using it so I can just do the outlines, then fill it in a little bit. So there's a couple coming through here, and I'm going to do those in a yellow. So bring on the yellows and the piece of scrap card that we had to test the colours. That's the Daffodil Delight, that one. That's light. Then I have here a dark Daffodil Delight. Might be a little bit of each, I think. So let's take this, where was I coming through? This one here. I'm going to do the dark lines, just the accents with the dark. And then I'll fill in with the light. Okay. Something about colouring that makes you go quiet. I'm not usually quiet on my lives. It has been a long day. So just colour those in. It blends those colours away so there are no lines where the markers have left. Okay, again, keep checking to see your piece that you're going to stick over the top. Line those letters up and see if you're happy with the look of it. Okay, like so. Straighten those up. Got a little flower here I've missed, so I'll do that one as well. That was in the blue. They do all blend in together. They look different when you've got green leaves in there. One there. I think that's all for now. Let's just see. We've got all the pieces in the centre here. So the leaves will be a different colour, but I don't want to introduce that colour into here with this design. I want to keep it all blues and yellows. Okay, we'll take those out of the way. I'm happy with that on there. Okay, I don't think I want to colour those leaves on there. I think I want to just leave it as a nice soft hue on the outside. So I think I'm going to leave that, because the leaves, I don't really want them to be green because it detracts from what we're trying to achieve. So now I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to place some dimensionals on the back here. Now we like to use all the waste pieces from down the side. Were they all your own groups? Which are you talking about, Shaz? Sorry. If you talk about the Wing It, no, anyone's welcome to come in. It's just started as a little group that we were doing through COVID. But if you'd like to join us, it's totally free. We just chat and we make things, whatever we. Sometimes I set a challenge. I need to do another graphic so that I can pop those out to remind people. So I'm using the waste from the mini dimensionals because these have got the nice long strips on here, and I'm using these to place on the back of the letters here. So they're just going to space those out. We don't like to waste anything, and they do work rather well on here. So use some of these strips up. I'll put one in the middle. I'll cut a half one on each of those ends. There we go. And then I'll need some from the other side as well, I think. So along here, you can't see where those dimensionals finish, but I can see the edges there. And I'm just snipping a few more. Oh yes, today. So I had one of my team members here today. That was Cheryl. That was an organised one. I had my cousin. She popped in and she brought a friend who is looking to start doing some crafting. So that was really nice to meet her. And she's keen to come back and do a class. And then they left probably about 5:30. Cheryl left just before them. And then I had some tea. Then I did my Wing It. The Wing It is quite relaxed. It's just a friendly small chat group. But anyone's welcome. If you fancy coming and joining us, I do that on a Wednesday. And like I said, I really should do another graphic for that one. It tends to just always be the same people, but I could do with doing another reminder. So thanks for that. And tonight I just set them the yellow and blue challenge the same. At the end I'll show you the card that I did with them. Sometimes I will set challenges so they can either make their own thing, just sit and chat with us and carry on making something, or if they've got a particular occasion that they're crafting for, they need to get something finished, they will just sit and chat with me. Have good fun. Very informal. We can get up and wander about and still talk while we're off camera at the die cutting machines. I'm just peeling this off onto here because they're little tiddly bits. Okay, there we go, that's that one. So just tap those on there, and I will place these letters over the big letters again, so you can see that that fills in the gap there like so. And I'm going to leave just the word hugs on there because you don't really know what to say to people, so I'm going to leave it at that. What I have got here though is my Wink of Stella, and I've got a tissue off camera here. This is getting a little bit near the end, so I'm just squeezing that down on the tissue into the, just to get the running down the barrel here. And what I am going to do is colour over these letters. So the Wink of Stella is just lovely, and it just adds that little bit of sparkle, and it'll all dry and there's no pieces to fall off. Okay, colouring always makes people go, either colouring or fussy cutting are the two quietest things to do when you get a group of crafters together. It's amazing, you can hear a pin drop. So when I'm sitting online like this, you love to in the future, but I'm lambing at the moment. Oh yes, you said about that. I'm on maximum 2 hours sleep a night. Wow, that's, yeah. How many more have you got to go? Are you doing lots? Have you got lots of pregnant ewes? Because these leaves can't really be green, because we don't want to spoil the look of the card, what I'm doing here is just going around the leaves, giving them some glitter. So I'm doing the Wink of Stella just to give the, oh, you've just leaked a little bit there. Let's just soak that up. Put that in. Yeah, so it doesn't spoil the look of the card, but it gives them something just a little bit in there. If you go onto Instagram, if you're Instagram, or if not, if you just Google, if you go on to hashtag cards for Ukraine, there's a whole hashtag just set aside just for the blue and yellow cards. And it's all makes, it's not just Stampin' Up, it's all brands. And it's quite nice to inspiration just to have a look through and just think about the poor people and their sufferings. Okay, so that's there at the moment. I've not quite finished. Put the lid on my... Hi Monica, first time on my live. Lovely to see you. I'm sorry, I've moved, my camera is kind of away from my desk at the moment, so I'm kind of slipping back to being where I'm sat, and I'm kind of like, if you can see me, I'm a bit crooked at the moment. So apologies for that. Lastly, I'm just going to take... Oh, I didn't snap the lid on properly. I've now got marker on me. There are some berries along here, so I'm just going to touch on those little berries with the navy, the light native navy, wasn't it? Yeah. And just bring out some of those berries in there. Just some little pointers along there. And then we haven't quite finished with the Wink of Stella. Okay, so coming round, I don't think there's any under there. So I'm not putting my hands in front of the camera, I'm just turning the actual piece of card. Okay, some more in there. I might have missed a few, but it's just some little berries along there, just can have some colour. So let's pop that on again now. Now, before I do the messy bit at the end, I'm going to just cut a layer for the inside. So if I move you out of the way, I'll try and keep you in camera, and do another piece here. See what size, that's too short, isn't it? Yeah. So I'll take another quarter piece of card, but I want to come down a little bit. So I'm going to do 9.5 by 13.8, I think. Okay, and then that can go on the inside of my liner. Now, where my Stamper Artist is, what I'd like to do here is just teach you another little trick. I want to have this on just the edges of my liner. So where my liner is here, I'll bring it back up here so you can see. So I want to just have this piece here, and I only want that piece to be showing. So I need to line my card up. So I'm under there, and my card here is lined up to go in that gap. Okay, I don't want the H on it, I just want to see that on there. So I'm going to hold that there and put a magnet on it. And then we will have the Tombow out of the way. My black ink. So all I'm going to do is line up this end of my ink pad. So I'm just going to line this piece up. I won't bother to put the support in just for this little bit. So I'm going to bring that one over and make sure that the H is not going to catch that. So I can press on there. There we go, just a little bit of border on there. And now I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to put it in exactly the same place the other side. Because we've got the other image there, you can see what has stamped onto the white. So I should be lined up now for that side, and it's perfect. Okay, so again, just this outer side here, tap, tap, and then stamp that down. Make sure that H is out of the edge. 60 ooze left. Oh, good grief. How many have you done already? You've had a lot, haven't you? So there's my two edges. So that's my liner, and I'm just going to do a little bit of colouring on there. Again, I'm leaving the piece of scrap in to protect my mat. So we'll bring that one back. So this will be my liner. And because we've not got a second layer, we've not got the filigree bits on there, we can actually colour this in quite detailed. So I'll colour any of the flowers that I can find, and then I will bring them lighter. So Shaz, do you actually live on a farm, or you just help out with the lambing? I heard you say the other day. I grew up on a small farm, you see. My dad was a small farmer. We had arable and we had pigs. So I was quite often outside in the with Dad at the weekends, and helping with the little piglets. There you go, just colouring in that same big flower again, both sides. Just colour those. Now my dots as well, I like my dots done. The little flower I'm going to do in yellow. Okay, that's that one. And then the little flower up here. And some of these little branchy bits. Just to add a little bit more yellow. Okay, the same this side. That's a leaf as well. I've got to do it this way around, it's easier. And little bits here, just to have a tiny bit. Okay, there we go, a little bit more, and I think that's just enough. It's just a little touch, isn't it? So that's going to go on the inside of my card. This is all dried now, and I'll just bring it up to the screen for you so you can see the glitter on those letters. Okay. Oh wow, that's big for a small holding. Dad was nothing like that. I think we were 60 acres. Very small, just arable and, like I say, pigs. But that was the whole of my childhood out on the farm. It was lovely. Okay, one of my team members around the corner in the next village over, Helen, she's got sheep. So I've not heard about if she's got any lambs this year. So there's the liner for my card. Okay, now to finish off with, I am going to put, so I don't really want gems on here, but I've brought a grid mat in, and I'm going to go back to my Wink of Stella, bring my tissue back, and I'm just going to squeeze that out just to get some back down the barrel so I can see it running. Okay, it is getting near the end. Now I'm going to take a Tombow, I've got an old one here with the lid on, and I'm going to angle this downwards. I need to bring you over so you can see. I'll have my camera situated a little bit better next time. It's not normally this far away from me. So I'm going to move all those out of the way. I just recommend that you protect your surfers when you do this, because it will fly and you can't control it. So all I'm going to do now is tap onto here. I do this quite a bit, so you might have seen me do this before. And those little sparkles, the closer you get, the bigger the droplets. If you're up here somewhere, then you wouldn't get so many. But I do like the effect, and it's just giving that little bit of glitter. But unfortunately, you can't really control to that extent where it goes. And I can guarantee you there's some on my board outside of the mat as well. So that's just a really nice effect. I'm just going to lift that up without smudging anything. Take the messy mat away. I'll wipe the table down afterwards. But there, you get too attached. Yes, I can understand that. I used to cuddle the little baby piglets. They were under the heat lamp, and I used to go out and I used to cuddle them. So they're very, very clean in the straw. So there's my card. So I hope you like that. I will post that. You probably can see all the sparkly bits on there and how that's affecting the overall. It's kind of come through quite well. Okay, sometimes you can't see the glitter on the camera. But that's my card for today. So I did say I was just going to show you what I did earlier. I christened some, move my bits out of the way. I christened some of the new masks. So this was a new set to me. I'll tell you which ones they are. They were in the Spring Summer catalogue. That's the instructions. That's no good. So they are the Butterflies and Flowers Layering Decorative Masks. So I christened one tonight, but I'll show you the other ones first. We've got a bit tangled in each other here, a little bit, so take those away. There's several in here. I think there's 6. These are card front size. Now you're going to need a piece of paper under that, aren't you? Do we want messy mat, or can you see them on here? I think you can see them on there, can't you? So hold that one round there. So that's one of the patterns. Okay, really nice. Like I say, I've only christened them this evening for this card. So that is some fern, so I can see that done in nice greens, or even tractor tyres, car tyres. You can do all sorts with that. Then this one is flowers, and you can layer up the circles, so you can layer up the sizes in different colours. So love that one. Looking forward to playing with that. That seems a bit thicker. Then we have butterflies, beautiful butterflies, and again the flower that can go inside one of the others. So you can do, say, like the solid one in a pale colour, and then go through with the darker one over the top. Believe me, you will be seeing these more. And then the same with the flowers. You've got a group of flowers there that you can do the base, and then you can go over it with the second layer. And then you've got the one I used on this project tonight, so it's still got ink on it. This side's yellow, that side's blue, and these are the flowers. Okay, so those ones are ones to be played with in future. So where's my card gone? Oh, up here. So I happen to have, when I came on the call with them, I had a stitched rectangle in white just sitting on my table, just on its own, just laying there. So I said, right, I've got to use this. So I went over the top with the yellow first, then I got another blending brush and went over the bottom with the blue, the Pacific Point. I cut one of the sunflowers, and then I cut the middle in brown just to accentuate the middle. And a little greeting, I just thought that was nice. Heartfelt love and caring thoughts are with you. Now, where did that one come from? That was from Quiet Meadow. Now, I'll leave those two there just so you can see both of them. Get the green out of the way. This is where the greeting came from, so it's Quiet Meadow. So remember I said about the 20% off the mini cut and emboss machine? This bundle is also one that's going to have 20% off. So I have the link to share. So I've done that today. I will share that one after this this live. You've got butterflies in there. You've got all these pieces of foliage which look beautiful as silhouettes as well. So they're really, really nice. I like these. And these 13 dies, and then the stamps with the greeting missing there. There's some nice textures in there. There's some splatters. There's some text. They are really nice set. And this set has got 20% off for the whole of March. Okay, there's actually 14 items. The labels, these labels here, they are another big favourite of ours down here. It's called Stitch So Sweetly. I don't know where I've put it. Have I put it away? Yeah, Stitch So Sweetly. So Stitch So Sweetly is really sweet. And then that comes from in here. So you've got these rectangles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rectangles, but they are stitched and they're scalloped. Okay, so they're really nice. And then you've got some more shapes here. They do work nicely together. So this one will fit inside that one as well. I'll take those out. I can show you. Do it on the back here so you can see a bit better. So those two will fit nicely together as a matte layer. And then you could still punch a hole in the ends and put some ribbon down and up and off the edges of the card. So that works really nicely as well. Definitely want to get, it's very popular. Jackie and I use it a lot. And so the things that we do jointly with our customers, they tend to, a lot of them have it. Yeah, definitely a good value for money one. Definitely gets its mileage, so to speak. So there's just a couple of cards this evening, the one from earlier and then the one I've done with you this evening. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Yes, it is amazing how effective, just a wink of Stella, and it's just splattering. So just protect your layer. The grid sheets are good, but it still goes outside. I can still see splatters on there. So it does go a little bit further afield and you have no really control over it, but it's worth it. It definitely is worth it. All right, so I will bring you back to me, and no, take that one off. I'll bring you back to me there somehow. There we go. Thanks so much for joining me. It's been lovely, and I hope you like the card. And if there's anything in your areas where you can do to help or donate, different centres are asking for different things, and it tends to be there's things for babies, for toddlers' clothes. There's antiseptics and bandages, and there's all sorts of things like that. But your local centre, you'll find different places. They're a little bit picky, as some of the girls said earlier, but they're obvious things that they're going to need when they are suddenly find themselves over the border and got nothing with them. So it's the essentials to start with, things to keep them warm as well, because it is snowing over there. So yeah, if we can all help and do our bit, then that's every little helps, doesn't it? Okay, so thanks for joining me, and look